All right, here we're doing another Time's Up episode. It's B Black and I. I didn't get any sleep last night. I watched the Raptors and then I stewed.
You a fan?
For a long time.
Oh, you.
Yeah, I'm a fan. And LeBron James is like,
I watch.
like he's unnaturally good. He's unnaturally good at this. Like if it wasn't LeBron James, like I think we would have went into.
If it wasn't for
overtime.
LeBron James, yeah. No, I saw the last 10 seconds, man.
Yeah. Oh fuck! How do you know it's gonna go? Like, anyway, I'm sorry.
Hey, can we pray for all the Canadians whose inferiority complex got worse because of that one game?
Because of LeBron James,
motherfucker,
fucking just break an ankle or something. I don't wish that on him. But we're watching Americans play Americans, even though it's a Canadian team. It's Americans playing Americans. Yeah. Here's the thing about the series too is like it feels like LeBron. Do you remember that episode of The Simpsons when it's like one of those Treehouse of Horrors when Bart has those powers and can kill everyone, and then he turns Homer into a Jack in the Box.
Oh yeah, okay, slowly coming back. Yeah,
the whole town's like really nice. It feels like the rest feel like that with LeBron James. Like Kyle Lowry planted himself. And it should have been a charge. This is something Kyle Lowry does all season long. He does this thing where he fucking out of nowhere he sets a plant and he gets the charge foul. He did it to LeBron James, and then Kyle Lowry got the foul. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm basketball, but let's get into it.
I'm doing what I do with all black guys when they're talking about basketball. I just play a lot. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Well, I only got into it this season. The irony too is like this is me getting angry at the game. I'm like, you guys do know you're playing for a country that doesn't like you.
You know what I mean?
That's the whole thing. That country doesn't like you. It doesn't treat you like equals. So I know how to throw race into it. All right, so this week we're going to be talking about the Cosby case. I was thinking that we should talk about not just Cosby, but Kanye West and R. Kelly. I think black celebrity in general. There's a lot to digest on this. Because there was a lot of shit that happened this week. So I'm going to set the clock for 25 minutes, and then, let's break it down. I'll set up the Cosby thing. As you know, Cosby has been convicted of rape or sexual assault. Is it sexual assault?
Did they say that's a good? I think it was rape. Hold on. Sexual.
I'm not sure that it's some technical. I won't get into technical. We can always look it up. But yeah, he's got charged. He has 3 counts of it. So he's getting the most. His maximum sentence is 10 years for each count, 5 to 10 years for each count. They're saying he's probably going to do 5 in total. But like by that point, he's 85 years old or 80 years old, right? So he's going to be like so old when he gets out of prison. He's going to jail
he's dying
for
in jail.
sure.
Yeah.
He's dying in jail, or at least he's coming out diabetic blind in jail. But he's so at the very least his legacy is completely ruined.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Okay, so I'm going to set the clock. We got that out of the way. Let's here we go. 25 minutes. And here we go. So and I read an article on The Root, one of my favorite The Root. I love The Root. Anyway, it's just like when I'm feeling too good, I go to The Root and I can feel better. So there's this article about how Bill Cosby's trial has divided the black community.
Word, that's what they're saying?
And
it's divided the black community?
It's divided the black community because there are people who like this woman wrote an article. She used to be the editor at I believe Ebony or Essence, one of them, and she was just saying how she went to a friend's funeral and a woman came up to her and said thank you. They published this a cover of like the Cosby Show. I guess it was like the whole family, the TV, and it was a shattered glass. And people were pissed off at it, like what the fuck, and this Me Too movement's out of hand and all this stuff. And this woman came up to her and said, thank you for doing that because I'm one of the victims. And then she had to look at it from a different perspective. She was like feeling like she felt betrayed. But she brought up something that was interesting because like you have that like as a black person to betray a black celebrity.
Yeah.
Is fucked. Like you have that already, that feeling of portraying the black community, but you're also a woman who's been sexually assaulted, and you like already people don't believe victims of sexual assault, but you're a black woman. It's like, I mean, there was white women in this too, but like you know what I mean? Like you have double pain.
I hear you. Okay, Gavin, can I keep it real? Mm-hmm. Can I keep it real?
You can keep it real.
Gavin, I'm serious, man. I'm asking you, can I keep it real? All right.
Absolutely.
I want to be dead honest, right? And compared to what you just said, from my selfish perspective, I honestly did not want to believe Cosby was guilty. I was fighting that feeling, and I realized it was comparable to the last year. I don't know if you remember, the last year I believed in Santa Claus. Are you with me? That last year, I really wanted to believe Santa was real.
Oh, no doubt. Me too.
Okay? Like I remember that phase. But what stopped me is I had to step back, and I started, what made me disconnect is I analyzed who are the people who didn't believe in Santa Claus, and who are the people who still wanted to believe in them. So it was the bigger kids versus the smaller kids, and all the TV commercials. You know, for some reason, TV wanted me to believe in Santa Claus, but whatever, right? And it's taking that step back, but it was a hard thing to let that shit go. It's like, Cosby, I want to believe you, but God damn it, all the evidence against you. 59. What are we at? 59 women now, right? 59 like accusation.
It's like it's two football teams.
59, right? And the fucking deposition. This nigga's on record saying, "Hey, I just used the N-word. I'm sorry." Anyway, on record saying, "Hey, yeah, I Quaalude. He doesn't go into why, but yeah, I use Quaalude on these chicks, on these dames."
Yeah, he
admitted to it. I'm like, yo, Cosby, you're killing. I want to believe your innocence, but you're fucking with. The evidence are overwhelming.
Well, see, that's what I was watching one of the videos. One of the jurors said that's what convicted him. Was he admitted to it? That's what convinced the jurors.
That's what convinced the jury. Yeah,
is that his
own words.
Well, that's the thing too. Is I don't know.
Which way?
Cosby is as problematic as he is, with his pound cake shit and pull up your pants respectability politics on the black community. He's still. It's like a grandfather. It's like a. You know what I mean? You kind of. I know. I mean, I have those debates with my parents, with my dad, where he's, it's like, well, if they just did this, and it's like, yeah, you're from the civil rights era, you're from a different time.
Yeah, and that's why the community split up.
You look at things weird. Yeah, and then when you got two football teams worth of rapes, you got the Eagles and the Jets. Lineup of rapes. I mean, yeah. But and that's my question is when do we? Because we've been gaslit for so long. I can't do the keep it real. Okay,
it's all good. Keep it real.
I'm trying to
keep it real, Gavin. Keep it real, Gavin.
It's not in me.
Keep it real, Gavin, man. Keep it real.
Okay, I'll keep it real. So. Emmett Till, and we've been gaslit as a community. We've seen leaders get killed. That's the thing is we've seen our leaders get shot in front of us, murdered in front of us. We've seen our leaders be torn down. We've seen it. We've seen it happen. Over and over
The government went out of their ways to take down our leaders. The system has usually worked against us.
But and so when you deal with Cosby and the black community, you're dealing with a certain level of gaslighting, and you're like, fuck. There's a history to shit. You know what I mean? There's a history of people lying. There's a history of women lying, white women lying. There's a history of that shit. So how am I supposed to believe this shit? That being said, 50 women accuse this man of rape.
I was looking at it too as. The other facet, right? Let's pretend, right? Again, B Black's going to try to keep it real with the folks here, right?
Keep it real, B Black.
Because I need that encouragement, that positive reinforcement, okay? All right. So let's pretend between you and me, and audience, you don't have to participate in this game, what I'm about to do, right? But let's pretend Cosby is part of this grand conspiracy because he wanted to buy. The rumor was he tried buying NBC, and that's when all this shit started.
Yeah.
Remember? Did you hear about that? Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, he pissed off Mighty Whitey somehow, right? Whatever.
I actually spewed that.
But think about this, right?
Yeah. I spewed that conspiracy.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to say is, one, if that's the case, then we got a lot to worry as a community that Cosby's got this kind of powerful enemy. So he should drop a dime. You're done, buddy, but you should at least identify who's fucking with you so we can work our way out from there. And at the same time, but Cosby, out of all people, should have known that when you play the Game of Thrones, you either win or get accused by 59 women of sexual.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Is when he wasn't being accused, he's very comfortable to point his fingers in the other direction to protect the system that's now accusing him of. I mean, I think of Jordan. Remember when Jordan, his father was murdered, and they were blaming it on his gambling shit. They were trying to tear a man apart.
Yeah.
That motherfucker can gamble if he wants to. It's his goddamn money. What's wrong with him gambling?
But that's the thing. It's true. We are skeptical when the system put in place says shit like, "Hey, guilty, not guilty," and all that. Yeah. But in this case, what it is for Cosby is what he's using to his advantage is how the little progress we've made. I'm gonna say all black people. Okay, not all black people, but when it comes to feminism, feminist idea, we still believe in that Eve bit the apple and she's the reason why humanity's all fucked up, or that I don't know about you, but I grew up with the notion that a man's downfall is a woman. Watch who you marry, because
yeah. No, that's my mom. I've been trying to do a joke about this for years, but my mom's sex talk was basically be careful of white women, you'll get accused of rape, which doesn't help a kid that's never had his dick touched. You put the fear into a child who's never had sex. Good for you. The fear of a Kate court case.
Me, it's the story of Samson that kept being replayed. He trusts some bitch, and then he lost his head, and then they fucked him up. So
the fear of. But there's this is why I was listening to, I was editing our last episode. It was really good, and we were talking about that with white women and that idea of it, you have to. I said you have to give black men a moment to adjust.
Agreed.
Just a moment to go. Okay, what is this? Let me. We have to get all the facts.
Yeah. Actually,
especially when there's another black man being accused of shit, we have to get all the facts.
Right. Now, fucking. First of all, can we give a Ride or Die award to Camille Cosby? For standing by her, man.
She is. Because she must have something worse than there's bones under her water bottle right now. There's
denial. Hey, yo, she spent all her life believing that he's a good man, and with just bad habits, with little bad habits, and it's too far for her to go back now. And so, but when she invoked the name Emmett Till, that nearly made me switch. Oh,
that's right. She said just for our audience, she said that she wrote a letter this week about the conviction, and she said that it was like Emmett Till. And if you don't know Emmett Till, he was accused. A white woman accused him of whistling at her, and her husband, her boyfriend beat him up, killed him. They murdered him.
Friends.
And his mother, Emmett Till's mother, decided to have an open casket, despite Emmett Till being completely mangled, and just to prove a point. But and then recently it came out that the white woman lied about the whole thing. First of all, why are you someone being murdered for whistling? And now it's come out that the white woman lied about it. So that's it's an apt that's playing up on black people. What she's doing is playing on black people and going, hey, this is some Emmett Till shit. We all know what that shit is. Most white people don't know what that shit is.
Yeah, actually, have you seen? I don't know. Did this show up on your timeline? The picture of Cosby being lynched and a white audience looking at him, and they put the name of Harvey Weinstein, and all these white celebrities, Kevin Spacey, who've been accused of rape but haven't been convicted like Cosby. So the message is he's being lynched by this white mob.
Yeah, I heard.
But
that
it's white
shit
people.
too.
It's been mainly white people. I know black dudes have been sharing that too, or black people are sharing that too. But they're jumping on. See, black folks, we're killing your people. You know, y'all should be up in arms about this shit.
I believe there's systemic racism, but I don't believe that this man is a victim of systemic racism. I mean, he's gone on for longer than I have raping these women.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like almost 40 years.
Bro.
That's fucking that's serial killer level of fucking raping women. Yeah. And like I can't. And he's had a successful career, and he's had people like fake his doctorate at Harvard and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? There's people like the level of like we're talking about Camilla Cosby, right? But the level of people involved with hiding this shit, because there's no way like people that worked on the Cosby Show didn't know about it. There's no way that fucking other people in Hollywood. Same with every one of those white people that, you know, like Harvey Weinstein or whatever his name is. There's no way. Because the way this guy got outed was Hannibal Buress, because it was a rumor that's been going around for so long. Yeah, that means there's tons of people involved with this whole fucking thing. It's a conspiracy.
Bro, I think even in the first or second season of the Boondocks, they made a light reference to Cosby being a rapist. Like it's as if it was a known thing.
It's common knowledge. It was common knowledge. It's common knowledge. So if it's common, even with Louis C.K., it's common knowledge. It was in the community. It was common knowledge as Harvey Weinstein. It was common knowledge. So
is it because
I don't think it's systemic. I can't chalk this one up to systemic racism. Like the OJ trial to me, when you go to the OJ trial, trial was a perfect example of racism in action. It was a perfect example of how racist the police department is.
Right. There was too many ironies in that case, man.
Well, I mean, like the main cop was a racist. He lied under oath. They collected evidence wrong. They accused OJ right away. It's like it was like a perfect example of racism. This isn't. Maybe I'm wrong.
No. I would say this. It's like it's like our parents taught us, and I know for sure the way our parents taught us when it came to crime, don't fuck around. Like they were paranoid about us committing any form of crime. Yo, don't even jaywalk, because you will be. They will look at you. The white guys might get away, but you will get arrested. So I don't see it as systemic racism. I see it I see it like this. Cosby committed a crime. He got convicted for it. The white dudes at his level, well, their privilege is keeping them out of jail.
Well, actually, Harvey Weinstein's being investigated.
He's finally being investigated?
Right? Like, there's a court. There's, like, cops are investigating some shit. Because his stuff is, like, with a lot of these rape cases, there was a statute of limitations on it.
But I guess it doesn't change the fact that he raped these ladies. It doesn't change the fact, and he's got to pay for that crime. Regardless of how you look at it, it doesn't change the fact you committed a crime and got to be arrested for it. What's up?
I think also on a certain level is Cosby might have that mentality where it's like, well, you know, I'm rich.
Yeah.
Like getting into, I want to talk about Kanye for a bit and R. Kelly. Like the shit that they're getting, R. Kelly had, like, come on. At what point does the black community, like, when do we let go of these celebrities? Like, R. Kelly has a fucking sex cult.
Yeah.
And it's not just like sex cult, it's like underage girls.
Yeah.
And we're like, but, you know, he made fucking Jeep, you know, like.
But you gotta.
He made Trapped in the Closet. How can I?
You gotta break down the demographic. But when I mean demographic, it's like the educated versus uneducated. I hate to use that word.
Yeah.
But the people who read the details, like about the sex cult, like I don't know the details about the sex cult. I just heard that it happened. But the people who don't read much are just focused on his great music and how his music makes you shake your ass. And, you know, I lost my virginity, the bump and grind.
Well, then they shouldn't be going to church.
So but
it's like Donald Trump shit. It's like they're just as bad as the people that support
It's funny you bring up church. It's interesting because in church, like when they play worship music, like there's an emotional level to it. I was trying to explain this to my atheist friend, and I'm trying to say how I think this part of the brainwash. You got the preaching, but the worship music, when they sing it and they keep repeating the chorus, I believe in Jesus, I believe in Jesus. Yeah. And you got the music playing, the choir, the drums, the organ, and all that. Yo, dude, you're near tears, and it's like a form of programming. So
yeah, I went to white churches, so it's like, oh
exactly.
fuck, I'm ready to go. Man,
you gotta go. Yeah, you gotta go to a worship thing. Like even.
Yeah, I went to a couple. I've been to a couple in the States, but like mainly, one of the major reasons I went to it was just white church really makes you realize how much you're out of the system. How you're an outsider. You're completely an outsider. So it was very easy to step away from church, going to white church.
Hey, let me ask you something. If Cosby were to come out with a tell-all book, a la OJ, if I did it, this is how I would have done it, some bullshit like that. No, more like, I guess I'm this point, I'm curious to know, okay, if Cosby isn't who I thought he was, who is he? Like, I need to come to terms.
Cosby wouldn't come out with a book because Cosby's old school, civil rights. Like I said, he's OJ is trash.
OJ's trash.
OJ is trash. Who like thought he was better than being black, and his ability raised him to a point to believe that. It's like where I'm like, but OJ is like he's not the same as Cosby. I'm not trying to hype up Cosby, but Cosby will be very private. He's embarrassed of all this shit. This shit is just not what. So
you think
wants.
If someone came up to him with $1 billion book deal, like I want take advantage of these crimes, would he be like, that's a lot of money?
But he'd probably tell his side of the story. I don't think he would be like, if I did do it, I don't think he would do if I did. He'd probably tell his side of the story.
Because this is what I'm saying. This would for the benefit of all men, and this Cosby thing has made me realize how little I knew about rape. Or I thought my friends were bad. Like there was a post that came out about how, well, if Cosby is this rapist, how come he didn't, rape his colleagues? They're prettier than most of the girls who accused them. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I know, right? I know. And I was like, I don't think that's how rape works. Like I was going to disapprove. I don't think how rape. I don't think it's like. I think for men, we keep.
What the fuck is wrong with people? Why are people?
But it's the ignorance. But I think. But think about it, right? For women, they're forced to accept. Yeah, no. The what of rape. Like they for real, rape is a reality for women. For men, it's like, but why would he do it this way? Like they're so caught up in, I'm not listening to these women
in making love. They equate it to
some kind of form of exactly.
Like you're having sex. Oh, you're horny. It's about horniness. Fucking idiots.
Exactly.
Well, the thing that came to me with this whole this Cosby trial and Me Too and all that. It's like I watched a lot of videos, like reading the story about the lady who's gray hair. She's older. She's probably my mom's age, saying that this happened to her. Think about those women, like women who are like 50, 60 years old, even younger than that. But my mom, something must have happened. Like think about that, because they didn't have any outlet to say against it. And if you did, no one believed you. Like, think about if you got raped by Cosby in 1976.
Who's going to believe you?
Who the fuck's going to listen to you?
Yeah. I remember catching, this is when cigarettes were being outlawed in office. And me and my supervisor, we caught our director smoking in the office. And I remember she said, okay, she closed the door because he was smoking, right? She closed the door. She looks at me. She says, yo, you didn't see nothing. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's illegal. No, you didn't see nothing. You want to keep this job? Shit. Well, shut the. We didn't see shit. Job. So in that situation, if you're raped by Cosby, there's no who's above him. The person above him is making too much money from Cosby to get rid of.
But it was such a regular thing, right? Like it's only been in the last year where people have been really calling it out. So think about how fucking. My point, going back to the people that or the people around Cosby, the producers and stuff of the Cosby Show, everyone knew about this shit. Yeah. People around, even Camilla knew about. They all knew about this shit, but it was so normalized, and it was so normalized, and it was so Like, it was just like, you know it. Like, I think about this every day. I think about doing this podcast and talking about so openly about race. And I'm like, oh, is it going to hurt my career and stuff like that? But then I always go, but how is talking about racism, why would that hurt my career? That only proves a point.
Right.
If it does hurt my career, it proves I'm right.
Yeah. Worst case, you make history. You know what I mean? Like,
right. You prove my. That's what I'm saying. Is like it's the same thing. It's like, so you're not encouraged to say anything because you could ruin your career. But why? Because you're being harassed. Or you're being raped. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like how we don't talk about when we're in a comedy club and the white owner says some shit to us and we just don't. We just suck it up. We put on that face like, right.
Yeah.
I'm a comedian that happens to be black.
Yeah. Suffer in peace, man. Just
let me ask you this. Like, we're getting down, but like, I was just Kanye West, like what he was going through and saying how slavery
Holy
this
shit.
week. I just want to skim over this, but he was talking about how slavery
was a choice.
What did he say? We need to get over it. He said something about how Martin Luther King, his friend compared him. They took a photo of him and his friend, and they said it looked like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and how they're irrelevant now. And I realize it's advertising for him. I realize that he's trolling with his blonde hair, but at the same time, it's still fucking horseshit. Like, don't use that shit to troll.
That shit to troll. Yo, I heard there's a radio station in Detroit that decided to not play his music. No, it's a promote. Maybe it might be a promotional aspect, but I like the idea that we're taking a stand. And besides, the rednecks will play.
Like, when do we start letting these, as a black community? When do we start letting these celebrities go?
Here's the thing for Kanye. I still want to believe this is like some kind of performance piece, and at the end he'll be like, "Surprise! Okay, this is what I was trying to do." And like I'm holding on to Santa Claus is real. Last year he was just racist, but this year he's got me. Yeah, I want to believe that Kanye's up to something.
Yeah, but like we're at a point now where like if it is, you 2017, 2016, the end of 2016, 2017, and 2018. What we're dealing with, there's you can't satire.
You can't.
You can't satire racism. You just
part of why I'm holding on to this, right? And you heard it here first. Like when he started getting on this self-hatred tour, he hooked up this lady. Her name is like Candace Owen, and before all this, she had a YouTube. I think she still has a YouTube channel.
Red Pill
What's
Black.
That?
Her name's Red Pill.
Oh, that's
Black.
what it's called. Oh, Red Pill.
Yeah, she talks. She's basically does what Kanye does. She talks about how
she's a Tommy Lauren.
The racism doesn't exist.
She's a Tommy Lauren. Like, I'm surprised Kanye. Like, if he really wanted to piss us off, he would have done a duo with a blonde-haired chick. But instead, he hooks up a black chick. He puts her he promoted his business. It's kind of like, let's say we were a podcast and we just talk shit about black people. And then Kanye decides to like add us in a tweet. Yo, we made it. Thank you, Kanye.
Yeah. So why do you think it's a performance piece? We got 20 seconds on.
Because I'm like the fact that he again, the whole Santa Claus analogy and the fact that he chose this black chick, this nobody black chick, to do this self-hatred tour with, as opposed to some other already established superstar.
So you think he's promoting a black person?
I don't know.
He could still be like, "Hey, I'm being conscious. I'm supporting a black." Did you watch Dear White People this weekend?
No.
The second season came out, and they talk about like a chick.
Really?
Like
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and she's just like, I won't spoil it, but it's a
Bro, I'm
good
related
season.
to some.
I love Dear White People. Anyway, yeah, this whole that idea. Maybe he figures he's still being somewhat woke because he's
I'm hoping it's a game. It's either two things: he's playing a game or he died.
I don't think he's that smart.
You don't think he's that smart, eh?
I think he's very smart. I think he's a genius when it comes to music. I think he's really good at producing beats. I think that's his genius. But I don't think he's that smart.
Yo, I had this thought. I said I was looking at my a poster of Tupac, and because he died at 25 from gun violence, and I remember back then I thought that's the worst thing that could happen. That's the worst way to lose your favorite rapper. I'm like, today, you know what? No, I was wrong.
Yeah, when you start seeing the blonde
maybe
hair.
Tupac and Biggie was killed by someone from the future who heard him say shit like Kanye just did, and he went back in the past and said, yeah, man, I'm doing the black community a favor. Bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean?
Well, Tupac and Biggie, that's the best way to lose a
From
rapper.
gun violence?
Kanye's
That's the worst,
way
man.
to lose
Yeah.
a good rap. Look, I'm a huge
Me
fan
too.
of Kanye West,
Me too.
but I don't know if I'm going to be able to like fucking co-sign on this shit. Even if he comes out and is like, blah, blah. I'm like, motherfucker, like I got to fight on a daily to prove racism with these fucking white people. And then you come out and like he's like an alt-right darling.
He's
now.
you
remember that Proud Boy? You sent me told me to go check out this Proud Boy. This guy, they're trying to do a Facebook group, and I go there and they're
praising Kanye. Yeah, man.
They're talking about the guy.
It's funny.
Talking about the guy with the package. How it's not racism. How you remember you saw that with the guy got a package from UPS and he won't open.
Oh no,
it.
I didn't see that.
They're like, what does that have to do with race?
Wait, what? I don't get it. No, wait.
Oh, you don't
Gotta.
remember?
No, I didn't read.
This black guy got a package from UPS. It wasn't addressed to him. It was addressed to his neighbor, but he didn't want him or his sons to bring it over because they were scared of getting shot or something happened to them. Rightfully so, because we've seen it happen in the news.
Wow. Yeah, rightfully so.
So the Proud Boys were saying, "Oh well, what does this have to do with race?" Because again, white people again, what Kanye's co-signing on is racism doesn't exist.
Fucking
Get
head in
over
the
it.
sand.
Get over it. It's not as bad as you think it is. Slavery's over. It's done.
Sand.
I've heard white people say that.
Well, because they're on the convenient side where they don't have to put up with racism. They get the benefit. They get to cash their check from racism.
Well, they also think racism is slavery.
What's that?
Like that's what it is, and it's like, well, it's done now. Shut the fuck up.
The book on Toussaint Louverture, there's a part where they talk about as the slave rebellions were progressing, slaves were starting to realize that, hey, man, this inferiority complex, like, yo, we're not inferior to the white man. We can take these people. And planners were saying shit like, yo, the magic of racism is disappearing. All these slaves are starting to realize that, fuck, we're just as human as these people. But I like the usage of the term, the magic of racism, which made slavery possible.
All right. I think we can. We
get over
again. We
but
we did good. We did good.
I was gonna say fuck Cosby, OJ, Clarence Thomas, and at some point Kanye West.
Kanye West. Hey, what about?
Oh, and R. Kelly. I forgot R. Kelly. Yeah.
Fuck R. Kelly. R. Kelly's the worst because he's under the radar. Like
he's
you wouldn't believe.
Anyways, you're gonna get yours.
All right, this is a good one.
Yo, dude, trust me. I was looking for. Okay, I want to fit in that point. I want to throw in that point, and boom, 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 boom. It's a